Democracy. What does that mean? A democracy.
A democracy?
Yeah, in a democracy, how do people behave? Or supposed to behave? I mean, I'm still looking for the democracy, but how are they supposed to behave?
With purpose, organize, and get things done for themselves.
Or do we assume that because we have a president or a city council person or a governor that they automatically are going to be able to do everything we want them to do? So why do people do this? They go and vote and then go home and sit down. Why? What do you think?
Well, they have other things.
Because you're, okay, like
putting food on the table.
Right.
Supporting families.
Right?
Putting the kids.
So how is their inactivity impacted? How does it impact their capacity to put food on the table?
It makes it harder.
It makes it harder to put food on the table. Why? I don't understand. Why would it make it harder? If you're not politically involved, why does it get harder to put food on the table? What do you think? Why does it get tougher?
I don't know. I mean, we just get so consumed with your own things.
Okay.
We just don't find out.
All right, tell me what kind of neighborhood you're from. Tell me the kind of neighborhood you live in, that you grew up in. What kind of neighborhood did you grow up in? Describe it to me. Like in 1 minute. Boom, boom, boom. What was it like?
It's suburban houses on the coast.
Middle class?
Middle class.
Everybody works?
Everybody works.
Most kids go to college?
Most kids go to college.
Okay, what kind of neighborhood did you grow up in?
I'm from Stockton.
Okay, describe it.
Very diverse, lower to moderate income.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up on the rural side, so it was a combination of farm workers and.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And where'd you grow up?
I grew up about 20 minutes from where she lives.
Oh, all right. You guys are neighbors, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So similar kind of place.
Yeah, more suburban.
More suburban. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. And what was it like there?
Um,
I mean, we know, right, Anna? All right.
A
But
lot of like minority communities just around me, like Asians up north, Hispanics to the right. Russian
yeah, we make all these pockets, right, of
Yeah.
different.
And they're all like, well, the community that I grew up in is a lot of Latino immigrants and a lot of first generation families.
Okay. And where'd you go up?
Kind of suburban area, kind of not mainly middle class, and then the white people are more upper middle class, the Asians are more middle class, and the Hispanic people are more lower middle class.
Okay. And how about you?
I grew up in Marin, so there's a lot of upper class, but there's some middle class, and then there's like the section of like lower class.
Yes.
which is a really
San
middle
Rafael
class.
and all those places.
Yeah,
Yes.
San Rafael, so.
That's where you come from.
Yes.
Okay. How about you?
From Seattle.
Oh, I love Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I live near downtown, so lower to moderate upper class, near the historically black neighborhood in Seattle.
Okay, so some of the communities you came from are pretty well off. And some of the communities you came from are not as well off. Is that true? Okay, so now I want to know if the people who lived in neighborhoods where people were less well off, are the people that grew up in your communities and you, are you lazier than the people who lived in the nicer communities? That's what I want to know. Yeah.
It's just like the people that I know, like my own family, like they're just overcome with a lot of like financial burdens and just like these like little struggles. So like in terms of like politics and stuff, like they have no idea what's going on because like they have their own issues to deal with.
Right? Right? Okay, so why are they overrun by that many issues? Because maybe in the suburban community, right, they're not as overrun with those issues. So how come in your community they're not overrun and in your community they are? Why?
Because
Are the people over here stupid?
no, they're just like a lot of immigrants and like new families, so like they're not familiar with the system. They're not like they just don't know like the way that like policies and stuff
Okay,
work.
so that's part of it. All right, and who grew up in a community where maybe there's less immigrants, but then we still might have the same thing going on? Anybody? Okay.
No resources.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. Like what kind of resources? Name me a resource.
Okay, there are no decent schools around the area.
Oh, okay, no decent schools. What else?
I mean, if you look at even food justice, even the food you go and buy isn't.
Okay, why? Why are their schools poorer?
There's no representation for investment in those neighborhoods.
I know, but in America, we're all entitled, right? We're all entitled to a free and quality education. All right, so why is it that in some communities it's poorer than in other communities?
like schools are funded by the community, so if it's placed in the middle of a poor community, they're not gonna receive as many like funds as would be a public school in a really well-off community.
Ah,
Because those wealthier communities are organized and empowered and can demand what they want.
okay, well, that's part of it. So now, do we begin to shape a reason why people have got to create a democracy, right? Because when there isn't a democracy, what happens? Some folks are equal and some folks are more equal, right? Right? All people are equal, but some people become more equal. All right, so how do those decisions get made? I mean, I met with the superintendent of schools in Oakland, California. And I told him I already know that the schools in the flatlands, what are the flatlands? Who lives in the flatlands? Who lives in the flatlands?
Low-income immigrants.
Low-income and immigrant people. Black people, brown people, immigrants. I already know that the schools in the flatlands get a lot less money than the schools in the hills. It's all one school district, all one tax base. Why is it happening? And he said, because qualified teachers who have tenure have a right to choose the school they want to go to. They all choose to go, majority of them, choose to go to the hill schools. That balloons the budget of the hill school, right? So now there's a lot more money being spent on the hill schools, and there's a lot less money to spend on the flatland schools. So there we got to have substitutes and brand new teachers because we don't have the money. So what's the price to the kids that go in the flatland schools?
They don't learn.
So I said, so how do you deal with that? And he said, I use title monies to make up the difference. Legally, is he supposed to be able to do that? Use title monies to make up the difference? Absolutely not. Title money is supposed to be extra to help children in poverty. But who's making a fuss about it? Everybody's sitting at home saying, Obama's not doing a damn thing. Obama's not fixing our problem. So let's begin to talk about regions and what happens in regions. This is really important. Are any of you, none of you come from the Bay Area? You come from the Bay Area. You do too. Okay. Describe the Bay Area. What's it like?
The area is, I think in a lot of ways, like a mega city altogether, like Los Angeles, but it's segregated into different municipalities that have more autonomy than they do in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm from San Francisco, which is often considered a separate place from the rest
It
of
is.
the Bay
It's
Area.
'cause that's how it's viewed.
Yeah, but it's very much the wealthy neighborhood of the Bay Area.
Right.
So,
Do you know Emeryville?
yeah.
Yeah. What's in Emeryville?
There are like a lot of industrial parks, like large parking lots and buildings that are really nondescript and that house like a lot of white collar things. And then there's like old converted farmland and basically a freeway that I drive by really fast on my way to San Francisco. 'Cause I'm in Philadelphia.
It has one of the highest concentrations of retail in the whole Bay Area. They are capturing a phenomenal percentage of sales tax revenue. What's California cities dependent upon? It sure is heck ain't property taxes, right? Because you got Prop 13. But heavily on sales tax. And so, where do all the Oakland residents shop? Emeryville or Walnut Creek. And who gets all the sales revenue from their purchases? Who do you think? Emeryville and Walnut Creek. Then Oakland says we don't have enough money for police. We don't have enough money for garbage. We don't have enough money. And everybody who lives in the hills says, those damn people of color just can't get their act together. I don't know what their problem is. We got police. We got street cleaning. We get our garbage picked up. What the heck's wrong with these people that live in Oakland?